A very warm welcome to you all students. Welcome back after your summer vacation. If you remember, the last topic which we were discussing was fertilization and implantation, and that was the topic of the chapter human reproduction. So now we are going to resume our classes and we are going to further study in detail whatever is left in this chapter. So let's proceed. So what is fertilization? We all have studied. It's also known as syngamy or fusion. That is the fusion of the male and the female gamete. And in case of humans, the male gamete is the sperm and the female gamete is the ovum. So in other words, we can simply say that the fusion of a male gamete with a female gamete, that is the fusion of the sperm with an ovum, results into the formation of a diploid zygote, and this process is called as fertilization or fusion or syngamy. Then also we have studied briefly that where does the fertilization occurs. So if you remember, we have studied that the fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube. Okay, as soon as an ovum is released from the ovary, it is received by the sperm present already in the fallopian tube, and that leads to the fertilization and formation of a zygote. Now that zygote, which is formed inside the fallopian tube, it slowly starts descending from the fallopian tube into the uterus. That's also known as the womb, isn't it? So, and during this event of descending from the fallopian tube towards the uterus, it undergoes many morphological changes, and these changes include the number of cell divisions that occur inside the one cell zygote. And these cell divisions, which causes a one cell zygote to change into several number of cells, is termed as cleavage, isn't it? That is, initially the zygote was one celled, then it became two celled stage, then four celled, then eight celled, then finally it became a ball or the mass of cells, isn't it? And finally it slowly, and while doing so, it is also descending down from the fallopian tube towards the uterus. So this cell division, this sequence or this series or this cascade of cell division is purely mitotic cell division, and these mitotic cell divisions is called cleavage, isn't it? And finally, at a particular stage, this mass of cell that gets embedded inside this endometrium lining of the uterus, and this embedding of the mass of the cell, that is the embryo which we called, okay? The zygote after this passing through these cell stages is known as embryo. So once the embryo descends down from the fallopian tube and it gets itself embedded inside the wall of this uterus, and that to which wall? The innermost wall, that is known as the endometrium. This process is termed as implantation. Okay, so this firstly, okay, so if you are asked that what are the events in sequence, then first is fusion, that is fertilization, then the cleavage, okay, and then finally the implantation, isn't it? And then further development of this embryo that occurs inside this endometrium lining of the uterus. Now before we go into detail about the different cleavage stages of the zygote or the sequences that leads to the development of the zygote into a fully developed baby, there is a small topic which is very important, and that is sex determination. That is how it is decided that the zygote is going to be a male child or it's going to be a female child. So you all know that we humans are having two sets of chromosomes, isn't it? One set of chromosome is known as autosomes, which are responsible for the body characteristics. So they are known as autosomes or the somatic chromosomes, isn't it? And there is one pair of chromosomes which controls our gender, which controls our sex, and those chromosomes are said to be the sex chromosomes, isn't it? And in males, the pair of the sex chromosomes which is present, that is X and Y chromosome, and the human female carries 2X chromosomes. Okay, now one thing if you remember is that during the formation of the gametes, be it the female gamete or be it the male gamete, that is be it the formation of sperm or the formation of the ovum, you all have studied the process of spermatogenesis and oogenesis. So there we have studied कि जो भी whatever gametes are formed, all those gametes have to undergo meiosis, that is they have to half the number of chromosomes, isn't it? That means when a male and a female gamete fuses, it results in the formation of two sets of chromosomes, that is a diploid set of chromosome. ठीक है, तो if a sperm is having one set of chromosome and the ovum is having one set of chromosome, then what will happen is that the zygote which will be formed will be having one pair of chromosome, isn't it? So basically what happens is that the sex of a baby is determined during the fertilization by the sex chromosome. Okay, so human contains two sets of chromosome, as I already told you, that is autosome and sex chromosome. Okay, so I was telling you that human contains two sets of chromosomes, autosomes and sex chromosome. Now the sex chromosome in female is XX, that is XX, and in male it is XY. Now what happens is that all the female gametes, it has half sets of chromosome, that is half number of autosomes, 22 autosomes, and only one X chromosome. Similarly, during meiosis and during spermatogenesis, what happens is that all the sperms which are produced, they are 50% have 22 autosome with X chromosome and 50% has 22 autosomes with Y chromosomes. Okay, so you can see here that the fusion of the sperm with the Y chromosome, so the fusion of the sperm with the Y chromosome with the ovum X results in the male baby, that is XY, and the fusion of the sperm with the X chromosome with the ovum already having X chromosome results in the formation of a XX combination, that is the female baby. In simple language, you can see the diagram that in the human males they are having 44, that human males they are having total 44 autosomes and one pair of the sex chromosome, that is XY. Okay, then you can see another, that is a female gamete, that is they are having 44 autosomes and two sex chromosome, that is XX. Okay, now you know that during the spermatogenesis and during oogenesis, what happens is that meiosis occurs. So meiosis mein what happens is that the number of chromosomes are reduced to half, isn't it? So 44 का half is 22 and X and Y chromosome get split. ठीक है, so one sperm is having X chromosome and one is having Y chromosome. Similarly here also in the females, now since the females are having both the sex chromosomes same, that is both are only X chromosomes, so in the females all the ova are similar. Okay, that is all of them will be having 22 autosomes and one X chromosome. But males may what happen is that the sperms, 50% sperms will be carrying X chromosome and 50% sperm will be carrying Y chromosomes. Now it totally depends upon the fate, or it's totally purely accidental that which type of sperm is going to fuse with which type of ova. Okay, now since we can clearly see here that there are two types of sperms, one is having X chromosome and one is having Y chromosome, and the other in the but in the females, all the types of ova is having just X chromosome, isn't it? So the thing is that when fusion occurs, there is 50% chance of the sperm carrying X chromosome fusing with the X chromosome of the ova. If this happens, then what will happen? That the zygote which will be formed will be carrying 2X chromosome, that is, the resulting zygote will be a daughter or a female. If the Y carrying sperm is fusing with the X carrying ova, then the combination will be XY and the zygote will be male, isn't it? So X, in any case the female is going to have X only, but the males, they are having 50% sperms carrying X chromosomes and 50% carrying Y chromosome, and it's purely accidental that which sperm is going to fuse with the ova. So if an X chromosome carrying sperm is fusing with the ova, then the resulting combination will be XX, that is female. And if a Y chromosome carrying sperm is fusing with the ova, then the combination will be XY, and the resulting zygote will be a male or a son. Now you can see here very clearly that since it is purely accidental as to which type of sperm is fusing, so it is biologically not reasonable to blame a woman for carrying a female child in her womb, isn't it? Or for delivering or for giving birth to a female child. If biologically you have to blame someone, it should be the males who must be blamed, but no one should be blamed actually, because it is pure accidental, it is purely coincidental. Okay, it's not sure that which type of sperm will fertilize which the ova. So no one is to be blamed for, but this is a taboo in our society that unfortunately the females are being blamed for always carrying for giving birth to the female child, which should not be done, isn't it? So there is one test which is known as amniocentesis that I will be telling you later. In that, what they do is they check the fluid of the developing fetus, and from that fluid they find out, from the cells they find out that what is the combination XX or XY, okay, to determine the sex of the child, which is illegal and it is banned. Okay, so checking the sex of the fetus before it's born, so that it can be it can be put to death or it can be aborted if it's a male female child, is legally banned, especially in India. Okay, so sometimes a question has been asked that it's a social misconception that the females are always blamed for carrying the female child. Is it true or not? Justify. So how will you justify? You have to just make this cross, you have to explain that it's purely coincidental as to which type of sperm. If at all somebody is to be blamed, it should be the males and not the females, but of course no one should be blamed for it because it's totally accidental. Okay, so this was how we determine the sex of a child in the fetus of in the womb of the mother.